Good morning, Masters. Chapter 3. I Want to Learn to Read. Adam and Jody had been married for 12 years and finally felt they were ready to have a child. They had spent the past year exploring different ideas about parenting and were intrigued by the concept that they might have a past life connection with their future child. I began their reading by looking at each of them separately to see if either one had an individual connection to a spirit baby. Finding none, I asked them to join hands so that the aura between them would be emphasized. As their hands touched, a brilliant sea green oval appeared between them. The suddenness of its appearance gave the impression of someone racing to get an appointment on time. The spirit baby was so eager to communicate. The energy flow was quite overwhelming. It was like someone speaking very fast without a pause. When the frantic effort at communication stopped, a stream of images took its place. It looked like a scene out of a Dickens novel. A young girl in a ragged coat was looking into the window of a schoolhouse. Inside, two teachers, a man and a woman, were going over lessons with a small group of students. Seeing the little girl peering through the window, the woman goes to the door and invites the little girl into the classroom. As the young girl sits in the classroom, she is given a slate and tries to join the other students in the lesson. After a few moments, the class is dismissed and the young girl stays behind. The man brings her some hot tea while the woman helps her trace letters of the alphabet. This sentimental scene is interrupted by an old, poorly dressed woman knocking on the schoolhouse door. When she is admitted, she determinedly grabs the child by the arm and pulls her away. Once outside, she slaps the child in the face and drags her down the street. As the scene fades, the image of the little girl reappears in the green oval of the spirit baby. I asked the spirit baby if the two teachers in the story were Adam and Jody. The spirit nodded excitedly and said, "They were so kind to me. They wanted to teach me to read. I never learned how to read. I want them to teach me to read now." When I opened my eyes to focus on the present time, Adam and Jody looked very somber. I could tell that they intuitively felt the sadness of the past life memory. When I recounted the spirit baby's story to them, their mood began to change. "That's so amazing," Jody said. "Both Adam and I volunteer our time to help children learn to read. I feel so honored that this little spirit remembered us and wants to be with us." "Do you mean that the spirit baby has never learned to read?" asked Adam. When I put this question to the spirit baby, she responded with a series of images that were like snapshots of different lifetimes. She had been part of tribal societies that had lived close to the land and passed on their knowledge through oral tradition. "I want to learn to read," the voice said again after the images had passed. Adam and Jody were touched by the spirit baby's desire to learn and looked forward to welcoming her into their family. This story illustrates an important point about past life connections. Sometimes the smallest kindness in a lifetime can affect someone so deeply that they make a connection that changes the course of their destiny. I have worked on a few cases where the karmic connection between parent and spirit baby did not come from a distant past life. Sometimes the connection comes from the relationships we have in our lives right now. Remember that each of our primary relationships is a contract. We get together to teach each other what we need to know. When death cuts short this learning process, there are times when those involved wish to continue the relationship in this lifetime rather than waiting for another. Those who have died can choose to continue these relationships by becoming the child of a family member or dear friend. Family connections. Dawn had recently married and she was trying to decide if it was time to have a child. A girlfriend had told Dawn about my ability to communicate with spirit babies, and she wanted to know if I could give her any information on her future family. The first thing I noticed when I looked at Dawn's energy was that she was ready and willing to be a mother. However, as I clairvoyantly looked at both her and her husband's energy, I noticed something interesting. Her husband Jim was the one who had a karmic connection with the spirit baby. As I focused more closely on Jim's energy, I could see a number of past life snapshots in which he was a mother with many children. When I noted this to Dawn, she nodded. Jim is the one who really wants to have a baby right away. He is also trying to get a home based business started so he can be a stay at home dad. I focused more closely on the spirit baby to see if I could get a clue about its connection to Jim. After repeated attempts to connect with the spirit baby, a muffled voice finally answered, I am his brother. This was followed by the images of a young man diving into a lake and disappearing. After repeated attempts to obtain more information, I returned my attention to Dawn and revealed what I had seen. Dawn was speechless for a few moments. Jim's brother drowned in a lake about 10 years ago when they were teenagers. Jim talks about him so much that I feel like I know him even though we never met. Jim was the older brother and he always felt responsible for his brother's death. I explained to Dawn that sometimes when close relationships are interrupted by death, the deceased will come back as a family member. This was the case here. Jim's brother would come back as his child and they would complete the karma of the relationship. I told Dawn that the arrival of this child would also create a healing for Jim and finally bring some closure to his brother's untimely death. Some families have a very strong karma together, and the individual members incarnate lifetime after lifetime within the same family group. These individuals often have a strong sense of tradition and like the comfort of incarnating with the same people over and over again. I have noticed this quite a lot in the descendants of the pioneers who traveled out west. I want to be Emily. Virginia was 8 months pregnant when she came for a reading. She was interested in any past connections she and her husband had with their future child. Most important, she wanted to know if I could give her any insight into what to name her baby. I just feel like the baby wants a particular name. My family thinks I'm crazy, but I keep dreaming about a baby who is trying to tell me what her name is. I found out recently that I'm having a girl, just like the baby in my dream. I found Virginia's spirit baby nestled close to her womb. Energetic, she looked healthy, happy, and very feisty. When I made a telepathic connection, the spirit baby responded with a picture of an old woman in a small gilt frame wearing a circular pearl brooch. I asked if there was a particular name she wanted to be called, but the picture remained silent, as if to indicate that this was the answer. I was at loss as to whether this would help Virginia or not. When I described what I had seen to Virginia, she broke out in a big smile. Oh my gosh, I know exactly who that is. That picture sat on my grandmother's mantle for years. I really remember the pearl brooch. That woman is my great grandmother, Emily. Now I know what to name my daughter. I know that's the right name. I can feel it. Virginia intuitively knew her spirit baby was trying to communicate with her. I have found that many mothers and some fathers sense their spirit baby's thoughts and desires after conception. I believe there are two reasons for this. First, most people are oriented to the physical dimension of life. When the physical presence of a spirit baby is confirmed through pregnancy, the parents give themselves permission to connect with the spirit baby. Second, after conception, the spirit baby works with its mother to create a body suitable for its individual destiny. This working relationship between mother and spirit baby intensifies the energy bond between them and makes it easier for each to sense the other's thoughts and emotions. Like Virginia, many of my clients have dreams in which their spirit babies appear and try to communicate. Sometimes these dreams reveal their past life connections. Band of Brothers. Jenna was 5 months pregnant with her first child. During her pregnancy, she had been having a recurring dream. She dreamed that she was in the midst of a Civil War battle, holding a dying soldier in her arms. Just as the soldier took his last breath, she would wake up, restless and anxious. She came to see me because she wanted to know if there was any connection between this dream and her pregnancy. The most prominent feature of Jenna's aura was her spirit baby. I was fascinated by the connection between the two. The unborn spirit had a strong energy cord both to Janna's first chakra at the base of her spine and the seventh chakra at the top of her head. The first chakra cord was normal and a sign of a healthy pregnancy. The seventh chakra cord, however, indicated that the spirit baby was trying to communicate with Janna. Spirit babies who use this kind of cord often affect their mother's dreams. I explained this to Jenna and told her that the dream was a communication from her unborn child. When I returned my focus to the spirit baby, I asked it to explain what it was trying to communicate through the dream. In response, the face of a young man with a scar on his left cheek appeared in the center of the green spirit baby oval. A mature male voice with a southern accent said, "We were brothers in that lifetime. I died in that battle. It is time for us to be together again." As he finished speaking, the image of Jenna walking hand in hand with the little girl appeared. I felt a warm, comforting glow emanate from this scene, and I knew intuitively that these two would successfully continue their relationship in this lifetime. I relayed the spirit's healing message to Jenna. I never told anyone this, but the man in my dream did have a scar on his left cheek. I am amazed that you saw that. I am so relieved now. I was worried that the dream was somehow a bad omen about my pregnancy. I never really thought about past lives before, but what you have said just feels right to me, said Jenna. I have had many cases like Jenna's over the years. This is why I always advise my pregnant clients and their partners to pay attention to their dreams in case their spirit baby is trying to send them a message. There are spirit babies whose connection with their parents does not fit into any of the four karmic categories. These spirit babies are from the angelic realm. I became aware of their presence about 1 year after my first encounter with a spirit baby. I was once again on retreat and meditating on a rock ledge high above the Pacific Ocean. I had been chanting for about an hour when a tall, white, angelic form appeared in front of me. "You have been working with unborn spirits. We want to show you something," said the angel. I was immediately surrounded by the oval forms that I had come to identify as spirit babies. They were hanging around me like lights in the fog. These spirit babies were very different. Instead of the familiar green color, these spirit babies were a brilliant white and gold. These are the spirits of angels who will take human form. Some have had 1 or 2 lifetimes, but most have had none. We want you to watch out for these spirits and help them and their parents when you can. I asked the angel why they choose to incarnate. He told me that some incarnated to experience what it was like to be human. We are here to serve humankind. We need to know those who we serve, explained the angel. Others incarnate to spread the angelic virtues of compassion and unity. I asked how these spirits would find parents, and the angel replied, "There are those who have karma with us from this lifetime or others." Many people have been in situations where they have given service and received nothing in return. They offered service not because it benefited them, but because their presence or healing energy benefited others. Perhaps they kept a family together, fed poor people, or offered their life to save another. Angelic spirits are attracted to these people because of their selfless giving to others. The angel also said that there were already many such spirits who had taken human form. Once the angel had answered all my questions, he faded away as unexpectedly as he had appeared. I knew this angel's appearance meant that I would be seeing angelic spirit babies again soon. Angel baby. My first opportunity to work with an angelic spirit baby came not long after this encounter. Meg, who was in her second trimester of pregnancy, had heard of my ability to speak with spirit babies and wanted to know if I could talk to hers. The spirit baby in Meg's aura had the bright white and gold color of an angelic spirit baby. The energy from this spirit was comforting and healing. I could intuitively feel a great sensitivity that would make the spirit very responsive to Meg's emotions. When I made a telepathic connection with the spirit, a cheerful male voice answered. Meg and I always talk together. We talk every day. I learn a lot from our conversations. I'm here to study human emotions. I asked if there was anything he would like me to convey to his mother. She is afraid of giving birth. Tell her to breathe a gold energy while she is in labor and doing her breathing exercises, he said. I thanked the spirit and returned my attention to Meg. When I recounted my conversation with her spirit baby, she began to laugh. She told me that she had found herself talking to her baby ever since she learned she was pregnant. When she was upset about something, she would explain what was going on to him. Talking to the spirit had been a great comfort to her. She also affirmed that she was afraid of giving birth and had planned on taking childbirth classes later in the pregnancy. I feel kind of guilty because it seems like my baby spends a lot of time comforting me, said Meg. Before I could answer, I heard the same cheerful voice say, tell her she'll have plenty of time to take care of me. I relayed what had been said to Meg, and she laughed again. Many of the angelic spirit babies that I have communicated with over the years have been like Meg's. They very actively try to communicate and express a great interest in the emotions, feelings, and thoughts of those around them. They can also have a definite sense of purpose that they bring into this lifetime. In a hurry, angelic spirit babies have a very high energy vibration, which can often contribute to complications during pregnancy. This high vibration is like an impatient person who wants to push everything forward. Melinda came to me concerned about her pregnancy. She was showing signs of going into premature labor, and her doctor was closely monitoring her situation. She had a strong meditation practice, and she came to me to see if there were anything she could do energetically to help the situation. Melinda's aura was dominated by the white and gold presence of an angelic spirit baby. The spirit was positioned very close to her uterus, which is where a spirit about to be born normally waits. However, this baby still had 3 months to go for a full term pregnancy. When I tried to connect with the spirit baby, the tall blue figure of a guardian angel appeared. I'm this child's guardian. He has never taken on a human form before and has difficulty maintaining a harmonious relationship between his spirit and his new body. I asked the angel what this meant. Mentally, he thinks he is ready to be born. He does not understand that his body is not yet ready. Tell his mother to imagine him in her uterus surrounded by a blue colored energy. This will lower his vibration and make his spirit more compatible with his body, explained the guardian angel. I explained the angel's message to Melinda and showed her how to surround her uterus with the blue colored energy. Because of her meditation practice, Melinda was familiar with this kind of energy work and was eager to try it. I heard back from Melinda after she gave birth. Her pregnancy had gone full term without further complications. A note about angelic spirits as children. As children, these angelic spirits present a unique challenge to their parents. Many of these spirits have difficulty adapting their angelic consciousness to human form. They are born with an open chakra system, which gives them psychic abilities. Their open second chakra, for example, makes them very sensitive to emotions, and it is easy for them to perceive the emotional states of their parents. Their open sixth chakra often gives them a clairvoyant ability, and they seem to be especially adept at seeing the spirits of the dead. Seeing the unseen. During a reading with a woman named Gina, we began to talk about her 6-year-old daughter, Penny. Gina was interested in knowing more about her daughter's past lives. As I looked at Penny clairvoyantly, I noticed that she had the white and gold energy of an angelic spirit in her aura. I could tell Penny had a very open chakra system, and it was hard for her parents to hide how they were feeling from her. When I relayed this to Gina, she smiled and said, "That's true. If I start to think about something that worries me, Penny will tug on my shirt and tell me not to worry." When I told Gina that her daughter's open sixth chakra would make it easy to see the spirit world, she told me the following story. Penny's grandma and grandpa died within 2 years of each other. When her grandma died, I tried to explain to Penny that dying meant that her granny had to go away from us and that we wouldn't see her for a very long time. I told her not to worry because grandma and grandpa were together now. Penny shook her head and said, "No, mommy. Grandma's in the living room sitting in a chair." When I went into the living room, I didn't see anything, but I could distinctly smell my mother's perfume. This story is a perfect example of what life can be like with an angelic child. They demand an emotional honesty with their parents and often insist that their parents acknowledge the spiritual aspect of the world. Another strong characteristic of angelic children is their ability to empathize with the suffering of others. During a reading, a client asked me what I could tell him about his young daughter's energy system. I could tell from her aura that she was from the angelic realm. Her most prominent energetic feature was a wide open heart chakra. These children are often attracted to service work at a very young age. This particular child was surrounded by images of homeless people. I asked her father if she seemed concerned or worried about people without homes. He told me that his daughter was constantly talking to homeless people and asking him and his wife to give them money. She always said that they hurt inside and need help. Of course, many children who are born with psychic abilities do not have their ancestry in the angelic realm. I have found that most children are born with at least one open chakra that gives them the ability to perceive worlds hidden from their parents. This is especially true for children who are old souls, spirits that have lived many lifetimes and are at the end of their incarnational cycle. These children often exhibit the same psychic abilities as angelic spirits and can be equally challenging to their parents. Unless this ability is nurtured, these children often lose their psychic ability as they grow older and their chakras adapt to real world expectations. In this chapter, I illustrated some of the reasons that parents and children are drawn together. Whether the events forming this bond come from a life ending tragedy or a simple act of kindness, the connection parents and spirit babies make is real and persists lifetime after lifetime. Learning to communicate with your spirit baby will help you to perceive and understand this bond. This will better prepare you to understand and meet your child's karmic needs. In the process, you will also gain insight into your own karmic past and the unique destiny it has prepared for you. Breathe exercises. Guardian angels. A good way to acknowledge your bond with a spirit baby is by making a connection with its guardian angel. Connecting with your spirit baby's guardian angel is not difficult because the angel wants to work in partnership with you to help the spirit baby achieve its individual destiny. In order to connect with the spirit baby's guardian angel, you need to attune yourself to the angelic consciousness. This consciousness can best be described by the concepts of unity, compassion, and love. These qualities are easily found in our heart or fourth chakra, and that is where this meditation begins. Place your left hand palm upon your lap and place your right hand palm upon top of it. Close your eyes, focus on the center of your chest, and listen to your breath. This is an act of self-acceptance that helps quiet the mind. When you feel settled, imagine a small sphere of green light in the center of your chest. With each breath, imagine the green sphere increasing in size. Take all the time you need to do this, don't rush. This helps to open up the heart chakra. When the sphere fills your entire chest, let your next exhalation burst the sphere as it were a balloon, releasing its green energy. Imagine the green energy flowing downward, filling your torso and legs. This helps attune your body to the angelic vibration and makes it easier to sense the presence of angels. Acknowledge your intention to connect with your spirit baby's guardian angel. Chant Hum, Om for at least 5 minutes or longer if you wish. This chant attunes your mind and heart to the angelic consciousness. When you are finished chanting, sit quietly and pay attention. You may see or intuitively sense the comforting, healing presence of the guardian angel around you. After a few moments, it is a good time to ask for the guidance you need to help your spirit baby achieve their individual destiny. Take some time after you have made your request to listen for a response. Do not be discouraged if all you hear is silence. Hearing communications from other dimensions takes practice and a quiet mind. Many times the information will come through dreams or through your own intuitive realizations. The more you do this meditation, the more adept you will become. You can also do this meditation to connect with the guardian angel of any child. Okay, Masters, we can stop here. Thank you very much.